Good morning, Magic 100 listeners and Forsyth Cable viewers. We need to make this a 45-minute show. We got a lot to talk about. Glad you're along for the ride. If you're listening on the Magic 100 or if you're watching by Forsyth Cable, we're glad you're here. We know that you enjoy having a local newspaper that talks to you over the airwaves. And guys, it's a cold January day. We're still in winter. I'll be glad when spring gets here. But your nose is black, by the way.
I'm not, my nose, you know why? Because I've been working on my heater.
Nose to the grindstone.
Working on my heater, you know?
Why do you need heat?
I always lay a fire in the daytime so that I can start it at night.
Oh, okay.
Stay cozy.
Well, yesterday we had a beautiful spring day. It was in the 60s and breezy, windy. 71. Wow. And then
I was coming back from Macon and looked at my thermometer on my car. My thermometer said 71.
And then right now, as we take this show, it's probably about, 45 degrees outside?
53 was when I came in.
It's dropping.
Is it dropping?
I think so. Cold front came through last night. Got a nice rain shower at the house. Did you get a lot of rain?
We got a shower. We got a hell of a rain. I mean, it poured down.
It's good stuff.
My dogs were in the house and they wouldn't go out.
My dogs like to go out in the rain, unfortunately.
Well, mine do too, but then what do you do when they come in?
Mop up the floor.
I got a towel. When I get both of mine, one come in, I say, okay, towel, come on in, towel. And he goes right to the towel and he sits and I wash him, rub him in.
Good boy.
But was one of the things that you have to do too. You have to spray them with something, man.
Really?
Wet dog smell?
Yeah, it stinks.
Anyway.
Well, our dogs can't go out at night because we have those Pyrenees and they're nocturnal and they like to do something at night.
Well, I thought you were going to say that you had coyotes.
They are like coyotes. You know what they like to do at night?
What? Oh my gosh.
Neighbor, I get a text from my neighbor every now and then.
By the way, you got a picture on the front page. If I don't say this right now, I saw there's a house on 42 right before you get to Johnstonville Road that caught on fire and burned. Y'all have anything about it?
I did hear of someone else that had a fire in their house. We'll have to look into it.
This one burned pretty doggone good, you know. I don't know, I have to excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that popped into my brain. And if I don't say it when it pops into my brain, it will be gone.
Oh, I've already got that problem.
Oh, good. Congratulations. It's fun.
Yeah, Richard Dumas was on the scene when our friend Dean Comer, he's a Forsyth, Monroe County firefighter, lost his house to a fire. And Richard, we found out some things that people might not have known, like what caused the fire.
Yeah.
Something left on the stove.
Yep, left a pot on the stove. Don, do you always check the eye after you cook? You like to cook, don't
always.
you? Yeah, boy, you got to check
Always.
it. I'll walk in. Do you have a gas?
No.
You have electric.
I have to.
I'll walk in the house and I can tell when something's left an eye on. Because a lot of times the fire will go, when you have gas burners, the fire will go out a lot of times, but you'll smell that natural gas.
Well, mine, I got a unique feature on my stove. After you get through cooking on it and you turn it off, the little light stays red so it gets totally cooled down.
Oh, good.
I appreciate that.
And then you don't touch it.
That's right. I have touched it.
If you're smart.
I touched it to see if the light was working.
It was kind of neat, though, the way the community rallied around the Comer family. A lot of folks donated
How many
money.
cats they have?
They have 2 cats, and the little boy Nate was home from school. He was he got in trouble at school, and the school said, "Well, we're just going to deal with it." And the mother said, she's a teacher in Bibb County. She said, "No, I want him suspended."
Really?
Yes, a good old fashioned mama. And so he was home, and that was scary because they had a fire, but it was good in that he was able to save Maximus and 7. You ever named an animal a number? Come here, 7.
Come here, 2. Come here. If you got 1, do you
I do.
1?
Well, I've got a dog with 1 eye, so we call her Uno for a while.
Oh no, those trade credit. No. Let's get on into something serious. There was a break. We're doing this story today on Thursday, and there was a breaking story that was reported. I think you said, Richard, even in the Atlanta paper.
Correct.
And also
on our website, at least.
On the Macon Telegraph, there was a story about a Forsyth City employee. What do y'all know about it?
Well, we know that she apparently was using someone else's bank account that used to work there and making fraudulent charges.
Paying her Geico insurance.
What? You know, people are stupid, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what, I asked the sheriff, I said, does she not, she has, I guess because she's the payroll clerk, she handles payroll, she has everybody's checking
That's
account.
scary.
Because you funnel the money right into their accounts, their
That's
paychecks.
scary.
This was the city, not the county, just to specify.
Did I say county?
No, I'm just saying,
Okay.
we've had problems with the payroll with the county
Oh, yeah.
for a long
And
time.
I bet
It's a
they're-
whole different
I bet they're
situation.
dancing in the hallways over there. It's not us, it's not
You know what it
us.
is? It's called the payroll bug.
Well,
They're infected with.
I asked the sheriff, I said, the sheriff's office handled the investigation, I said, she must have not have been real bright not to know that she would get caught, if you're stealing
Her
a...
elevator didn't go all the way up.
Yeah, and he said, they usually are.
Hey,
Accurate.
we need to do something right here before we go any further. We need to stop.
Okay.
Richard, why are you wearing that hat?
I'm just a big Georgia Bulldogs fan.
Yeah. That's all you need to say.
312 Monroe County, signal.
So the brain transplant is attempting to work, is that right? All right,
It's a HIPAA violation if you bring it up.
okay. All right.
Don, are you going to now it'll be too late for our listeners on Sunday, but this past Friday we had the big chamber banquet. You gonna be there?
You gonna MC
You
it?
gonna shake a leg?
No, but I might dance.
If you dance, your leg will shake. Yeah, I'll probably give the Citizen of the Year award. We always do that, with
Who
the
is it
chamber.
gonna be? Can you announce it?
Mhm.
Since this show's not here.
The winner is,
Well, I'll be there. What do I get?
huh?
What do I get?
For coming?
No, for being
Citizen of the Year.
You can go ahead and give it
Just-
to me now.
Be there on time. That's all I'm gonna say, Don. Be there
Free
on time.
dessert at Sweet Tea Cafe,
Hey,
a Dairy Queen Blizzard.
Yeah.
and a slice of strawberry pie from
We
Shone.
call it the question.
That's right. That's right. But anyway,
The school board is renovating the Board of Education. Diane Gladwell has an update on that this week. And Don, that Board of Education central office looks very nice. They've done a good job with it.
it's nice we're having weather, isn't it?
You don't like positiveness?
I kind of like the other picture before I switched it.
Oh, okay.
Because it showed more construction. It
Yeah.
just looks like.
Well, is this
Looks
the
like
ag,
where it
is this the ag building on the front page?
No, that's on the jump. They put up the beams for the ag, the hog parlor, as you like to call it. There it is, hog parlor.
No, that's the county that's gonna do the hog wall.
Allegedly.
Hey, Richard,
They raised sales tax money for that 8 years ago.
Richard,
Yeah.
I've been hit with a couple of things this morning. One of the things is why is the SPLOST money, is it being used for the project that it's supposed to be used for? I think we gotta investigate that.
Okay, which part of it are you referring to?
Several projects that were designated for SPLOST, where is the money since there is not any project going on?
Maybe time for an open records request.
I agree with you 100%.
Well, the county is required by law to publish in the newspaper, the legal organ, which is the reporter, a accounting every year of how they spent SPLOST money and how much they have on
Have
hand.
they done it yet?
No, school board did, but not the county. Have y'all noticed this new app where we are recording our podcast here for Magic 100? Now the waves move when you speak.
That's pretty cool.
I like it too.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah,
we had a tape recorder and that didn't work for a while. Anyway, Will decided we would try this telephone. It's a telephone.
We were
What do you
recording
call it,
this radio
iPhone?
show. Yeah, we're
All
recording.
right, wait, it's still.
Well, the
you
app is
talking
called, I think it's called Anchor.
about- All right. We're talking silly today. Let's go back to the BOE, Board of Education. So they are building what are they building? You got, your headline says ag barn. What are they gonna grow?
It's actually for the lambs and stuff. It's for the FFA does a lot of, they show a lot of animals, hogs and cows. And one of the school board members was concerned that it would smell. And he said, no, they'll only be here temporarily. They won't be here. It'll just be during shows and stuff.
I'm gonna tell you, he became a general. And,
Head of the Georgia National Guard, is he?
well, at one time, yes, but he was stationed everywhere as a general. And so when he left the Army, he wanted to do something, so he got into the high-tech business. And it's very interesting to see what, I think it was called, VizTech? VizTech. Why in the world he went to Eatonton, I'll never know, but.
Lego Cody.
Okay, that sounds good. Anyway, he started this company, and it is really amazing to see some of the stuff that he's developed. And he's, from what I understand, you know, he's gotten some military contracts, he's got some school contracts, and I think he's doing really well. And he's coming back home. He's coming back, he's building a building, which we did not have to give any tax incentives to do, up in the industrial park up next to the Georgia Public Safety Training Center. His investment in Monroe County is just fantastic. And I'm glad Stewart is coming home. I really am glad he's coming home.
Yep, it's exciting, and it may open as the first tenant at the Industrial Springs Park,
Right.
which the county is sort of marketing as a high-tech park, and they hope that there will be other firms that will follow that will want to be maybe some of Stewart's co-workers or collaborators
You know
or
what?
vendors.
You know what's so interesting?
What's that?
The Development Authority of Monroe County and Bo Gregory didn't try to take the glories for him coming here.
Well, we had a story, but you know, Mr. Rohde wasn't ready to do it because they hadn't closed yet.
I know.
So, but you let the cat out of the bag, and that's what a good
That's right.
columnist should do.
Yeah,
I can blame you
yeah, blame me.
now.
Hey,
When he calls to come.
you know, I don't care.
Good. Well, it's good news, and
It is good news.
it'll probably close in the month of February, I'm told. So then it'll be official. And Eddie, you know, speaking of county government, Eddie Rowland had a very interesting update. And Richard, I'm sure that none of this was really new to you, but he is very proud of the progress they made in his, what, he's been 2 years on the commission.
Yeah, he endorsed the, he called it the headline calls it the right direction, but hiring a county manager and hiring a new finance director, and he says they're cleaning up some of the financial issues they've had in the past, and the commissioners shouldn't have the day-to-day responsibilities that they've had previously.
Yeah.
That's just gonna create more. No, I'm not gonna. You know, I agree. I think it's fantastic that the county now has I guess I should say this, a qualified county manager, and they have a finance director that is just fantastic. I hope, you know, I hope the commissioners don't run them off, because as Richard and I sit there and just are amazed at how they micromanage. Have you seen any change in that, Richard?
Yeah, I mean, the same discussions take place, but they usually defer to the county manager's
Yeah, that's true.
feeling on
Discretion.
things. Yeah.
That's true.
Speaking of the county, we have, if you're listening to this on Sunday, a big groundbreaking tomorrow for renovations to Monroe County Hospital. Richard, what is that all about? What is going on at Monroe County Hospital?
Well, they're doing a full hospital rehabilitation of sorts, where they're going to put in almost a brand new ER, really.
Yeah.
I don't know what all the exact changes are.
And-
Moving the nursing station to the middle is one of the biggest things.
And
Having
contrary
things around
to
it.
contrary to Don's statements, they're not going to call it the Band-Aid station.
No,
Just make sure.
Oh, yeah, it's going to still be a Band-Aid station. You know, I think it's great the direction that the Monroe County Hospital is now taking. They recognize very simply that, hey, a facility such as they are going to offer Monroe County is what Monroe County's need, what Monroe County's want, and will be the best for Monroe County. That we're not, Richard, I'm asking you both, with what is happening at the hospital, would you define or classify Monroe County Hospital as a hospital? In the context of hospital.
Has it ever not been a hospital?
Well, they do
No,
do some surgeries there, right, Richard? How was this?
I don't know what did you define a hospital as. It's always been in the name, so I guess they
It's
think
always
they're
been
a
a
hospital.
name, but with the hospital,
You can
in
spend the night there if you're sick.
my opinion, a hospital is a full service facility. You go there
Well, I don't
and
think
have
it's that
babies, you
even
go
after
there and have
this.
surgeries, you go the whole.
It's
Open
never,
heart
it's
surgery
never
and all
gonna be a
that.
trauma unit or anything like that, but I think it's a facility where they treat people. I think that's all.
Well, I think it's great. I think they do treat people
With
with.
something very
Okay, never
interesting,
mind.
talking about healthcare. And up in Atlanta, Don, at the Capitol, they have just removed a woman who was the chairman of some healthcare committee up there. Do you know why they removed her? Because she opposed reform to the Certificate of Need program, and that is one of the most exciting things to me that's happened in the legislature. If they're willing to remove someone who was a stooge for the hospital,
Right.
Mm-hmm. Georgia Hospital,
Right.
what do they call it, group.
Associated.
So they actually were willing to open some free market reforms to allow health providers to compete in the open market.
I think it's fantastic. You know, there was at one time, I don't know where it still is, but it's called a CON, Certificate of Need.
That's what there's word they may reform. Now,
But let me finish. What I'm saying is a certificate of need, if you wanted to open up a nursing home, you had to,
get a license,
no,
get a certificate of need.
no, you had to prove that there was a need where you are to open a nursing home.
You know what I would do?
What?
Here's $5 done. Say that you need a nursing home.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you 100%. You know, I am totally, my company represented the Georgia Nursing Home Association, what it was called back then, as a PR and promotion firm. And the CONs were just absolutely, I mean, it was just, you know.
It's just a way for government to control free market activity. Hey, how does government have any better knowledge of what? The truth is, when anybody opens a business, whether it's a nursing home or a restaurant or a newspaper, they don't know whether they're meeting
right.
you don't know whether you're meeting a genuine
right.
need until you see if you can make it or not. If you can't, if you're not meeting a need, if there's not enough people for a nursing home, you
Totally
close
right.
down.
Correct. And there's another avenue on that too, Will. Is if you are not doing the job that you should be doing, then you ought to have competition.
Right. And let's be clear what was happening with certificate of need. All certificate of need is a racket whereby the current existing nursing homes and hospitals squash any competition because you have to go to the government to get a license.
No.
It makes it harder for competition.
The government has only so much money for nursing homes.
Mhm.
For nursing home, if you go to the nursing home, the state's going to pay. So the state says, hey, we ain't got enough money to have 5,000 nursing homes, but we got enough money to have 1,000.
But when they passed certificate of need laws, there was not Medicare and Medicaid
That's
to the
right.
degree you have now.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
so back then it wasn't really the government paying; it's
Right.
private individuals paying for a nursing home.
But you
you're
know,
right now.
I go back to you. I totally agree. It's free enterprise. You know, if you got the jack and you want to try to go make some more jack, then do it.
Let 1,000 flowers bloom.
Yeah, and you know what? I know what they're doing at Mary Parsons now. I figured it out. They're going to grow medical marijuana
At the Ag Center.
at the ag center.
Oh, that would be a story.
That, trust me.
Hey, I was down at you know where River Crossing is in Macon, Georgia, right there across from the new mall on the river. I like to go to Mike's, Jersey Mike's as a
They got
sandwich shop.
Ooh, it's Jersey Mike's.
I can't go anymore though. It's not on my keto diet.
By the way, looks like you've gained weight on this keto diet. Doesn't it, Richard?
I can't tell.
Well, you're losing more hair. Is that what keto does?
You're fired.
You're all right.
Anyway, there's a
I'm going to
new
sue you
there's a
for
new
discrimination.
there's a new store next to Jersey Mike's called CBD, which is my brother, my dad, and my nephew's initials. You know what CBD is?
Tell me,
Cannabis.
distribution center.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go in there?
No, they're not open yet, but I'm gonna get a T-shirt when they do and give it to my dad.
You know what?
He'll be so
I
proud.
think you ought to wear it. Well, I'm going to tell you this. Up in North Carolina, you can go to a drugstore. There's stores that have that cannabis oil.
Yeah,
You put 2 drops underneath your tongue.
yeah. I think I'm gonna open a brownie shop. It seems like that's gonna be real
No.
popular.
No. What would you open, Richard?
I don't know. I'll stay out of it.
You're going to stay. It's just me and you.
He's
bub.
not gonna touch that one with a 9-foot bomb. Well.
All right, Richard, what's happening in sports? Tell us something.
It's been pretty bleak during the winter. The boys team is 6-15.
This is basketball, right?
That's right, basketball. Girls team still winless. I think they're gonna end the year winless.
How many games do they play next?
Well, they played 21 and they have
And you think they're gonna lose all 21?
They've already lost.
Has that ever happened?
They got a few more to go.
Is that a first in
In
school
my
history?
record keeping, that's the first.
Okay.
They had
The
a
first-
winless
a zero
one.
season.
They're gonna make history, and they just lost their best player to an injury, so it's not gonna get any better.
What else is happening sports-wise?
They're having wrestling, that's not going too great either, but we have a young team in wrestling, still a young program.
Did you know I was a wrestler
I didn't.
when in college?
I had no idea.
No.
Yeah, at North Georgia College, I was a wrestler. I was good
Interesting.
too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Richard, they're taking nominations for the Year on the Hall of Fame committee. Y'all taking some nominations?
We are, till
Yeah.
March 1st.
So if you wanna nominate somebody for the Sports Hall of Fame, what should you do?
How many people gonna get inaugurated?
We aren't set it, no more than 8. You know,
Okay.
so between 5 and 8, I don't
Okay.
think we've set a number yet. We did 8 the first year, and I
Uh-huh.
think we intended to cut it down to 5, but last year somehow we ended up doing 8 again, so I think we're gonna try to start narrowing it back down a little bit lower, but.
Right.
You can go by either the chamber office, or not the chamber, the Better Hometown office, or come by the reporter and pick up a flyer.
Why not the chamber too?
They can too, they just, hadn't agreed to it at the time we had our meeting, so. I mean, we hadn't talked to them about it, so
Well, you know,
they may have by now.
Richard is looking at something that, a section of the paper called community. And that's one of the most interesting sections because it's got, I think if you wanted to call that the lifestyle section, I think you could do it because.
Names and faces.
Yeah, it's just, all the honor roll kids, you know, and that helps you sell papers.
Look, just a couple things to mention. If you want to join River Forest, now's the time. You can get 2 clothes for the price of one. Healy Point and River Forest, starting at $100 a month, $110 a month. And if you want a spring special, you get your lawnmower ready for the spring mowing season. Go over to our friends at ERC Small Engine Repairs on
Where are they?
Highway 83.
Okay.
You know, on the left as you're going out toward Monticello.
Yeah.
James Willis will take care of you.
Yeah.
Tell him the reporter sent you, and we still have about 4 minutes.
Okay.
I want to mention something that happened this past week. We've had it in our newspaper. A big job fair was held for job. You mentioned in your column too. Five Below. You've seen the big new warehouse.
Right.
Have you seen the new sign on the warehouse out there?
I haven't seen it yet.
Five
It
Below.
says Five Below.
Looks sharp.
I haven't been
I was
south
kinda
in a
expecting that to
couple of
happen.
weeks.
Yeah, it looks nice. And so now they had a big job fair on this past week. We'll have details in the reporter. Had a huge crowd
Yeah, according to Bo Gregory again, 400 people.
interested in going to work. So, you know, one of the things people have said was, well, we don't need any new industry because we can't give them the employees they need. We don't have enough people to work.
Let me tell you something. Take a ride down the interstate toward Macon on any weekday work day and you see all Monroe Countyans headed south,
Yeah, going to work.
going north and going north.
Or north. That's
You know,
right.
they're going up here, that big new place up in Jackson, you know, up in Jackson Griffin exit. Well, that's the dollar store place or something like that, you know?
By the way, if you haven't voted yet in the Best of Monroe County,
You can still have time to vote for
we've
these
got
people.
one more week. Best columnist is Will Davis, W-I-L-L.
Best columnist is Don Daniel.
And you can vote more than once. If you buy 2, 3 papers,
I'm
you
gonna
can
buy
vote
20.
2, 3
I'm
times.
gonna buy 20 and put my name on
I
all
told
20.
Trellis you were barred from purchasing extra
That's what I
papers.
figured.
Um,
I'm gonna vote for Dude as the best sports ever.
we'll try to get photos of Don Daniel dancing at the big chamber banquet on Friday night. And we'll have all,
After he's Citizen of the Year.
that's right, he'll be celebrating.
That's right.
He'll be holding up his award.
I tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. If I get Citizen of the Year, I will dance.
All right, dancing
That's my
jig.
promise.
You heard it here first, folks. Also, Richard and the reporter is getting ready to preview our spring sports, and if you want to salute your son or daughter, that section will be coming out in early February. Be sure you reserve space for them. And other things coming up, we're going to salute every February. The reporter salutes the businessmen of the year. Did you know men kind of get the short shrift these days. Did you see what they did? Did you see what they did to those poor guys from the Catholic school up in Washington who were
That
probably
was the most disgusting thing.
the left, our friends on the left.
That CNN, I'm gonna tell you, CNN, yeah, CNN, Somebody needs to talk to Ted Turner and Tom Johnson and say, hey, get CNN off the air.
Jerk the leash. But anyway, we like to salute men, build
You
men
know what
up.
CNN stands for?
Well, Communist News Network.
No, you know what it really stood for?
No,
Cable News Network.
that's right. Yep. And it was, it was the first 24-hour news station. And I used to love.
I remember
I used to love. I grew up
Ted
watching
Turner.
headline news all the time.
I remember when Ted Turner, we came out to Six Flags and he was talking about what he was gonna do. We told him he was stupid. You know where he got all his money at?
His dad.
It was Dad's billboard company. And that's what he did. He had Turner billboard.
You know what his saying was?
What?
Early to bed, early to rise, work like hell, and advertise.
That's right. That's right.
Because he was in the advertising business,
That's right.
whether it was TV or billboards.
Well, McDonald's is hiring somebody too.
Shoney's is hiring. Listen, if you want to work, you can work.
I tell you what, I think we ought to go down there across from Five Below and offer hot dogs. Open a hot dog hamburger stand.
Or, let's not put this on the air, but we could buy that little corner lot there on Rumble Road
Mhm.
and open a little fast food place.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Hamburgers and hot
Yeah,
dogs.
we could, man, they
Okay.
could really do well.
By the way,
My friend-
is there a food truck anywhere? Is there a food truck ever come to Monroe County?
Richard.
Are they gonna have a food truck thing at the, for City of Fountain?
Yeah,
Probably.
they've done that the last couple of years.
You know, let's buy, they gonna buy a pickup truck and put a grill in the back.
Wouldn't that be cool if you yeah, that would be
I
fun.
want you to fund my Krispy Kreme franchise. That's what I'm.
Man.
Crispy, but I like
good.
Krispy Kreme, but I'm gonna tell you, Dunkin's is pretty good too.
It is good.
Krispy Kreme is not on the keto diet. I don't know if you do that.
Well, I was gonna bring you some of it. I've got some in the car.
Just to tip me.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of
Bye,
time,
y'all.
folks. Thanks for joining us on the Reporter on the Air. I'm Will. He's Richard. He's Don. We'll see you next time.